Well, Don, it's been one heck of a ride. 11 years since I left Microsoft, and we're finally able to offer enterprise-level services for pennies on the dollar. How did we get here?
Well, back in the Windows 95 days, coming out of General Electric, where I serviced thousands of machines on a daily basis, I began to identify a severely underserved market,
Small business.
the SMB sector. Many of them at the time were running Windows NT or Windows 2000 on their servers,
Remember that?
and it was just to provide the basic computing needs that they had. Well, looking at the internal processes that go on in a small business, I identified the essential tools that every small business needs, that being email, file sharing, and remote access. Well, Microsoft at the time saw this too. It came out with a product called Small Business Server 2003.
SBS, I remember it well.
It was a great fit for those needs.
But a tremendous expense. What was it, $15,000 for the rollout?
Todd, at the time we upgraded your company from Windows 2000 to Small Business Server 2003, and you needed to invest in the server hardware, the software and licensing, the consulting fees just to put it all together, and then you have the ongoing maintenance and managed services costs.
Well, let's not forget about electricity either. Do you know we've saved over $5,000 in the first year in the cloud on electricity alone?
Well, because the technology is now mature enough to provide these same essential services via the cloud, we developed a product called Cumulus to solve that problem. It comes with email, file sharing, remote access, spam filtering, and much more, but at a fraction of the cost.
It truly is a fraction of the cost. Do you know the electricity savings are going to pay for it in the first year?
So let me tell you a story about a customer that I had at the time that had 20 to 30 users. They were forced to migrate to Microsoft Exchange Server 2007 at the time. The reason why they had to do that was because Microsoft was rolling back support on the old version. And it was a good thing because Microsoft wanted to put their focus on the new technology and they couldn't support the old technology anymore.
Well, that makes sense, but boy, can it get expensive.
It was huge for them. It was a $20,000 investment for everything that we talked about, the hardware, software, integration fees. Today, they have an alternative, being the cloud. Our Cumulus package could serve those needs for them, but at a fraction of the cost. Todd, let me liken the cloud revolution to the emergence of the power grid in the United States. Did you know that Henry Ford needed to generate his own electricity?
At first blush, I didn't, but I came to understand that.
Well, Ford needed to invest in generators to power his assembly lines. Huge amounts of capital expense were needed for this, not to mention the countless man hours and operating expenses just to keep the factory running.
Just to get started.
Well, then power plants were being built, and the wiring infrastructure grew to the point where it was more economical to pay an electric company for your electricity. Today, cloud providers are that power plant, so to speak, and the internet is now the power grid. We can now use the internet to deliver the software needed to run your business, and you no longer need that server. Think of it as removing the in-house generator of old.
Amen.